afternoon, everyone. I'm glad you all can be here with us. I kind of fell into representing the Holsti Prize, given the retirement of the librarian who generally handles this. And so I'll review what the Holsti Prize covers and then go on to the winners, neither of whom could be here with us today, but nonetheless.
But we have a parent here.
We have parents, we do, we have friends.
Grandparents?
So we have representation and interest for sure. So the Holsti Prize was generously funded by Professor Ole Holsti, who is a professor emeritus in political science. And each prize carries a $1,000 award, and the research is based on, significantly uses primary resources that include things like data sets or government documents and things like that. And, the judging of the papers look at the sophistication of the arguments used and the exceptional ability to use these primary sources, as well as excellent writing style. And really, the two papers this year were really superb. I did not meet these students, not having been on the committee early on. The winner in the category of thesis for graduation with distinction is Charlotte Lee, who is currently in Thailand and obviously cannot be here. Her work was entitled Hurdles to Herd Immunity, Distrust of Government and Vaccine Refusal. And that is about a 90-page paper that thoroughly covers the current arguments for and against vaccines in the U.S. And the semester-long paper, I'm more and more impressed by Jack Dolgen, whose parents and grandmother are here today. He was a freshman when he won this paper, won this award. He also was suffering from mono that semester, and yet he put out a wonderful paper on public policy, The Relentless Outside Push, Why the Minnesota Legislature Defied Economics and Public Opinion to Fund Target Field. So looking at public monies used for perhaps private interests and whatnot. And his faculty advisor was Tommy Sowers, who was then in public policy and has since retired. And I have letters for these recipients. Their checks will be given to them later, but Ellen Steiner, Jack's mother, would like to accept on his behalf. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to say.
My son is taking an econ exam as we speak. I am a heartbroken mother, proud but heartbroken. but I'd love to hear from Jack's professor, if that's appropriate. I know that my son was really passionate about this topic, and this award meant a lot to him. He just loved being immersed in it. He loved working with his professor, and it was a really wonderfully fulfilling experience for him, and I know he would have loved being here today.
So I think we can expect really good things from Jack in future.
Sure. So I am way too young looking to be retired. I'll just tell you that right now. I wish I was retired. But Dr. and Mrs. Dolgen, grandmother, thank you so much for being here. How many librarians are here? I love you all. I'm serious. I'm serious. Where this started was with Catherine Shreve. And we did a training session downstairs, and she took time out to individually instruct each one of the students on how do you actually do primary research. I'll tell you a quick story about the pedagogy of the course. I am a practitioner by nature, run for office, political appointee, so I care far less about writing papers than I do about creating citizens. And on the first day of class, I write idiots up on the board. I ask people if they know where that word came from. It's the idiote, which were people that were selfish, who didn't care about the issues of their time. Citizenship meant you had to be involved. And my means for doing that is to have students focus on something that they're passionate about. And then we'll figure out the intersection with American politics, because it always intersects in some way. And what Jack cares passionately about, he does care about politics, but he really loves sports. And he loves sports. And so we talked about where does sports intersect with American politics? Where do the macro level forces come into play? And he said stadiums. Stadiums are very controversial. They talk about interest groups and money and lobbying and politics and elected and all those sorts of things. And what I do is I incent the students. I say, if you want an A, you have to do primary research. And most people will check that box and they'll go do sort of 1 or 2 interviews. Jack emailed me the day before the test was, the paper was done, and let me just pull it up real quick here. He said, sorry, it's going to be a little late, but here are my interviews. Tom Back, the Majority Leader of the Minnesota Senate. Jerry Bell, Chairman of the Minnesota Twins. Terry Bonoff, Minnesota State Senator. Dan Dorman, Tom Goldstein, Alice Hausman, representatives of the House of Representatives. Senate Majority Whip, House of Reps, Stadium Bill co-author. On and down the list. 22 primary source interviews that he incorporated into this. It is an honor to teach students like Jack. They are the ones that you just love watching them grow and love watching that passion get unlocked. So thank you, librarians, for instilling that skill set. Thank you to the Holsti Prize for recognizing this excellence. And I think what we've got here is a true scholar and a citizen. Thanks.